if you don't show that you are similar, or you are sharing some similarities with that group of people. So you have to speak the same language with those people that you are trying to promote. You have to speak the same language, and you have to seem to be behaving in the same way. So that's what we mean when we say advocates work in partnership with people they support and also take their side. In addition to this, advocates promote social inclusion. Advocates promote social inclusion, equality, and social justice. Advocates promote social inclusion, equality, and social justice. So, advocates promote social inclusion, equality, and social justice. Advocates promote social inclusion, equality, and social justice. What is social inclusion? What do we mean by social inclusion? Any ideas? Yes.
In my opinion, this is including involving everyone, despite of their status.
Okay. Involving everyone despite their status. In other words, recognizing or accepting. Accepting everyone in spite of their status, in spite of how they look, in spite of how they speak, in spite of where they come from. Because sometimes some people are rejected just because of maybe how they look. So that is social exclusion. But as an advocate, you try to discourage that and say, since we are all humans, then everyone has to be accepted. Nobody should be rejected based on how they look. We can't all be born the same way. It's practically impossible. So those are ofanana. We can't all come from the same place or location. But that is not the basis for excluding other people. People are excluded from many things. Some can be excluded from education. They might say, just because maybe you have a disability, then you are not supposed to be part of us as a school. That's exclusion. So when you are an advocate, you try to speak against that. So every advocate promotes social inclusion. Similar to social inclusion is equality. Equality means everyone is treated in the same way. Yeah. So like you ladies these days, you are trying to promote gender equality, meaning women, ladies can do the same jobs like men. Why? Because you feel everyone is equal. So equality is another thing that we as advocates fight for. I'll talk about child advocacy later. This is just general when we talk of advocacy. And maybe the last thing that I've already highlighted there is social justice. Social justice meaning fairness. Social justice means fairness, right? So fairness is an issue of giving people what they deserve, not depriving them of what they're supposed to have. So fairness means that everyone is given what they're supposed to get. So they should not be deprived on any basis, not because of where they come from or their level of education. Sometimes some people can be employed at a job, They have the same qualification, but maybe they may be given less money just because they're a lady. They may say, you don't have many responsibilities as a lady, we're going to give you less money. And you have a bachelor's degree. And then there's a man who comes in, has got a bachelor's degree, and they will say, we're going to give you a lot of money just because you're a man, you have got lots of responsibilities. That's unfairness. Fairness means everyone is given what they're supposed to be given just because they have what it takes. So in advocacy, that's what we are trying to do. Now, let's move on to child advocacy. Child advocacy. So child advocacy, in terms of meaning, let's define. So child advocacy can be defined as a set of organized activities. Child advocacy can be defined as a set of organized activities designed to influence policies and actions of others. Policies and actions of others. Designed to influence policies and actions of others. To achieve positive changes for children's lives. To achieve positive changes for children's lives based on the experience and knowledge. Based on the experience and knowledge of working directly with children. Experience. Based on experience and knowledge of working directly with children, their families and communities. Based on the experience and knowledge of working directly with children, their families and communities. So it's a set of organized activities designed to influence policies and actions of others in order to achieve positive changes for children based on experiences and knowledge of working directly with children, their families, and communities. So this is a simple dictionary definition about child advocacy. So based on what we have already discussed about advocacy, you can see that when it comes to child advocacy, our focus now is on children's lives. Yeah, our focus is on children's lives. What we do is simply to organize different types of activities. These activities are supposed to influence or make some changes in policies and also make some changes in the behavior and actions of other people so that lives of children can improve. Let me repeat. Child advocacy, it means certain activities that we organize with an aim of trying to change other people's behavior. Not only that, but also some policies and some laws, so that the lives of children can improve. You get it? Mm-hmm. What it means is, at the moment, if you look at the lives of children in Malawi, 90% of our children, in terms of their lives, they are going through difficulties. Many of them are going through malnutrition. Many of them are not in school. Some are not being taken care of properly as it's supposed to be. If you look at a lot of children, you find them in the streets begging. Isn't it? Yes, it means the quality of lives of children is compromised. Which also tells us that somebody somewhere is not doing their job. Either as a parent, either as a community leader, or as a political leader. And it also tells us that some of the laws that are there to protect the lives of children are not being enforced. They're not being carried out. So there is need to change those laws. There's also need to change the lives of those people that are taking care of the children. We call them caregivers. So the lives, behaviors of those caregivers, it can be parents, mothers, fathers, it can be relatives who are supposed to take care of those children, and they're not taking care of those children, or they are taking care of them, but the care is not adequate, it's not enough. So when we become child advocates, what we do is we look for those people. They can be in the community, maybe they're in the offices as leaders. We look for those people. We come up with different activities. We approach them to tell them, you need to change what you're doing. Because whatever you're doing is not helping the children. Children are still in the streets. Children are still not going to school. Children are still not being given adequate and nutritious food. That's why they're always sick. That's why most of them are dying. That is why, they are malnourished. You go to the hospital, you find kwashoko, tukudwala malnutrition, makolera wandemboe, diarrhea whatsoever. And most of the children under age of 5, maybe 50%, they end up not making it. They die. Yeah? So, there is need for children's lives to be improved. There is need for us to bring in positive changes for children in education, in health, in protection, so on and so forth, so that we improve the welfare of the children. It's painful and it's sad to hear, I think it should be last week. Yeah? Last week in Ucholo, some men, they raped a child and then killed that child. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it means the protection of children. Because that girl, I think she was in standard 8 or something, but she was at primary school. Very young. So children's lives are at risk. They can be abused anyhow. Some are abused even in their own homes. It means the caregivers are not providing adequate protection. Some, they are in their homes, they have got their parents, but some parents abandoned. Isn't it? Yes. Some run away. For so many cases. Women, single mothers, the man was there, ran away, not providing for the child. Here is a lady struggling to take care of the child. We've got such people. And in some cases, you also find even the woman abandoning the children, leaving them without anything. Then she goes to South Africa, or she goes somewhere to business, she stays there, and the children are on their own. The report we had 2 weeks ago about children in some area in Idoa. There were 82 families that were child-headed. That was Udi Magolo Sevalibero, Anamazemania Hoka. Just one section in Idoa, some people were giving us that report. So you can see that there are so many problems that the children are going through, and there is need for somebody to try and protect them. those people who protect the welfare of the children in this manner, they are child advocates. But take note, we do this by coming up with organized what? Activities. Are we together? We come up with activities. We don't just do it, just waking up. Let's fight for the rights of the children. Let's promote children's welfare. No, it doesn't happen like that. People will not take you seriously. It means you have to plan it. Then I'm going to introduce this course. Your assignment this semester is just one, but you need to do it perfectly. You design an advocacy campaign, and we'll see what will happen. Because I'm going to share you step by step. There are about 14 steps that you need to carry out in order to come up with a very good advocacy campaigns. Fine. At this point, are there any questions? Mebo, is it Mebo? Sorry? Mwabe. Oh, what's that? Is it English?
It's
Bemba from Zambia. You have to teach me. Because I'm thinking of going to Zambia. Yeah, Mwabe. What's the surname? Maritonga. Okay. Okay. Yeah, any questions so far? Or any comments? No. Is it Christine? Christine. Why Christine, not Christian? Or something. Or Christina. Anyway, we choose what we like. Christine, any questions at this point? Should I continue? Should I continue confusing you?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for the permission. Yeah. So just to emphasize on what we mean by child advocacy, child advocacy includes, a range of individuals. It includes a range of individuals, or it involves a range of individuals, different forms of people. Okay. It includes professionals and also advocacy organizations who speak on the best interests of children. Who speak on the best interests of children. And what they are trying to do is to seek to protect children's rights, the rights of the children, especially those that, at risk, maybe of abuse, harm, and all sorts of maltreatment that can happen. So this is really the interest of child advocates. I'm repeating now and then so that we have a solid understanding of what child advocacy is. As we continue, I will not be emphasizing on this. I will simply be talking about other things. When we talk of child advocacy, we are fighting for the rights of the children. We are trying to promote positive outcomes for children. Children who are maybe in risky situations, circumstances, those that are maybe being abused in many ways. If their rights are being infringed, we are trying to protect those children. So when you look at children's rights, children have got a number of rights. They have got a number of rights. They have got a right to life. So the moment a person has a child, your control over the life of that child stops. You had control before you had a child, isn't it? But the moment you have a child, I should maybe extend and say the moment you conceive a child, that child has a right to live. You are not entitled to decide in the life of that particular child. And that is why we need now to begin to protect, because there are some evil people who would not want that child to survive, to live. Okay? So we are there to protect the rights of the children, including the right to life, right to education. Mwana alisa kabadwa, it is his or her right to be educated. And the education starts in the home, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it starts in the home. And then it goes to preschool, nursery, or kindergarten. That is the beginning of formal schooling. And then it goes on to that. So we are also there as advocates to ensure that children are enjoying their right to education. So parents have to take the children to school, they have to provide. If they are not providing, we take away the children from them, and then we put them somewhere where their education is supposed to be there. Right to quality food, nutritious food. The fact that Mwana doesn't mean they can give any kind of food, treat them anyhow in terms of food. Yes, we are not talking of expensive kind of food, no. But parents have to realize that it is their duty now, if they have got children, it is their duty to provide nutritious food. So we promote that kind of right. Right to protection. Protection from physical harm, protection from psychological harm. I think when we were talking about parenting, we covered that, isn't it, Tawanga? Yeah. We said, children can be subjected to harm physically. We call it physical abuse, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But children can also be tortured mentally. That is psychological abuse. And we are there to protect children from going through those sort of harm and abuse, because they have got a right to protection. Yeah. You can agree with me, Kuti, children are vulnerable, are at risk, just because of their age and level of development. Mwana ujama crowd sana kwime has not yet matured physically, alibe mpamvu zoda tawuzipanga defend, others take advantage. So because we know children are weak, there has to be somebody who is strong. So advocates like you and me, we protect them against this physical abuse. Also mental abuse, we also fight against that. So I wanted to share maybe just a few examples of some of the rights of the children that we will focus on in trying to promote as child advocates. All right. So at this point, let me go to two more things, two more concepts, two more important issues. Number one, we want to look at characteristics of effective advocates. Characteristics of effective advocates. Characteristics of effective advocates. Here, what we are trying to do is to look at some of the qualities of good advocates. So if you, as an advocate, somebody who is trying to promote the rights or protect the rights of the children, what are some of the qualities that you need to have? What sort of characteristics should you have if you are going to do the work effectively? That's what we're trying to look at. Yeah. So an advocate, an advocate may speak in front of an agency or a court. Sometimes it requires you to speak in front of maybe an agency or a court. I'm just giving a background. I haven't given you the characteristics yet. I'll give you the characteristics. You'll list them down later. Yeah. But just for you to understand some of the things that will concern advocates, what they do. They may speak in front of an agency or a court. Remember, Lugambas are fighting the rights of the children. You may find that a child is abused by a parent, by a guardian, by a teacher, or somebody taking care of him or her, or just any random person, and then that issue goes to court. And you, as an advocate, you can be required maybe to go to the court and then speak, to give evidence, to try to defend. You may work in that particular manner. Yeah, so they may be asked or required to speak in front of an agency or a court, or you may be required to communicate in some way, maybe making phone calls or writing a speech or documentation or letters, or you may be required to carry out a campaign, and then an awareness campaign. We are going to do that one. Or you may be required to lobby for an individual or a group. So lobbying is like setting up a meeting. Maybe you want to talk to an MP, like I said. Sometimes authority, you want them to change something. So you may approach people, you may approach individuals, maybe an MP, or you may be required to approach maybe a village headman. You want to talk to them. That one is called lobbying. That one requires a special skill. So, in all these roles, you need to have some specific characteristics. You need to have certain qualities. Because if people are going to take you serious, then they need to see something about you. Yeah, they need to see something. Otherwise, you can approach an MP and then you try to speak to the MP. You cannot manage to speak. The MP is going to dismiss you and say, you are just wasting my time. So you need to have certain qualities. You need to have certain qualities. Yeah. If you go to a court and they ask you to speak, you are failing to speak, what will happen? They will dismiss you and say, you are wasting our time. So what are some of the characteristics? Number one, communication. 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 So advocates must be able to speak. Must be able to speak. Must be able to speak. And not only speak, but they must speak clearly and forcefully. They must speak clearly and forcefully. Forcefully meaning what? Convincingly. They must be able to speak clearly and forcefully or convincingly while maintaining a friendly and approachable demeanor or approachable manner. Maintaining a friendly and approachable demeanor or approachable appearance, whilst maintaining a friendly and approachable appearance. They must be able to listen to all sides of an issue. They must be able to listen to all sides of an issue, as well as understand the needs of their clients who are children, and understand the needs of their clients or children. So they must be able to listen. They must be able to listen to both sides of an issue, at the same time understand needs of their clients who are children. The needs of their children, their clients who are children. So apart from oral or speech as a communication ability, advocates, they also need to possess written communication skills. So apart from oral or verbal communication skills, advocates, they also need to have written communication skills. They also need to have excellent written communication skills. Written communication skills. So they should not just be good at talking. They should not just be good at talking. I like our Minister of Gender, Women, Children and Social Welfare. Who is the current Minister of Gender? Patricia Gariati. When Patricia Gariati talks, you actually, yes, you are convinced whether she's talking nonsense. But by the end of the day, you get convinced. Sometimes you are even motivated to join, whatever, she's trying to push. Why? Because she speaks convincingly. She speaks forcefully. And one of the things why she's good, when she speaks, she doesn't stammer. She is not even ashamed of whatever she speaks. And you actually see she means what she's talking about. Because she will look straight into the eye of those whom she's speaking to. She's not going to be shy about it. And she's not going to stammer. That's a very good characteristic of an advocate. Chifukwa chake, ku Minister of Gender kucha, amantha kusintha ma ministers onse, ma minister iye kumusiya kuti komwe. Because when she's talking about women, she speaks clearly, she speaks convincingly, she doesn't stammer, and she is straight to the point. You can also see the confidence. Yes. the way she carries herself when she's speaking. She is confident. She has got energy, in other words. And she maintains that energy. That vibe is there, isn't it? Yes, that's what we mean. That's why she's able to, be in the forefront to fight for the rights of the children, the rights of the women, and the rights of marginalized people in the society. That is a good example of an advocate in our context. So, before I move on to the other characteristic, let me emphasize, it is not only good for you to know how to speak. Zodiac. It's not good. You also need to know how to write. Written communication. Because sometimes you will be asked to make a presentation. And people, they need to see what you have written. They can only take you serious if they see that you know how to write. Sometimes as an advocate, you are supposed to write a statement, a report. If I ask you today to write a report, do you have an idea of how to do it?
Yeah.
You decide on the format. All I want is a report. Can you do it? If, for example, there is a teacher who is abusing a child in class, and you are expected to write a report about it, can you do it? Okay, good. So written communication skills are about that. Ability to write letters, formal letters. Ability to write formal letters. I remember one time when I was trying to apply for my studies at a university. So I went to a friend of mine. We were together in school. Only that year, school he was a doctor, but he had a PhD. I was trying to apply for a master's. So I asked him, can you write me a reference letter? Because as a requirement, I was supposed to have 2 reference letters from my previous lectures and also some lecturers. So I asked him, can you write me a formal letter? You know what he did? He asked me, can you first of all write the salutation, address yanga, address ya school. He said, in his mezo cinemas done. Cinemas is 0. Okay. But he has a PhD, he's a doctor. So it was funny and interesting because at that level you expect somebody to know such stuff. But I understood maybe for God, Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've observed.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe he forgot how to do it because maybe for a long time he had not been able to do that. He was doing other things, so maybe he forgot about that skill and how to do it. Yeah, so if you are a frontline worker, you are a frontline worker, someone who is, doing things practically on the ground, it means you have to have that skill. You have to have the ability to do that. Yeah? Otherwise, you will be caught unawares when you need to produce a written documentation, and then you are unable to do it. So in terms of communication, in short, we are looking at two skills. You have to have verbal communication skills, where you're able to speak clearly, people are able to understand you. You are not speaking so fast, such that people don't fail to follow you, and you maintain the energy so that people will still follow what you're saying. You have to speak clearly, and you also have to speak convincingly, meaning you have to have the boldness and the courage. Being able to maintain eye contact with people whom you're communicating. Because most cases, if you're communicating and then you keep on looking down, or you're looking away from the people that you're addressing, people will not take you seriously. And in fact, you will not notice there are some people who are sleeping, they're not no longer forcing. So verbal communication skills are very, very important. Maybe one thing which I didn't emphasize here is that when you're doing that, you have to maintain the friendliness as well as to demonstrate that you are an approachable person. Because some people, when they are communicating, in order for them to show that they are serious, they tend to become unfriendly in the process. So they tend to use harsh words. They are offensive, maybe to the group of people that they are addressing. And they end up showing that it is going to be very hard for anyone to maybe get in contact with them. When you are an advocate, when you are communicating, show that as much as you are serious, but you are also somebody whom people can approach. Okay? That doesn't mean you are not serious. No. But you should be able to balance those things. Don't put a lot of hindrances in order for people to contact you. Because you are fighting for the rights of people. You are dealing with people, and people have to manage to get in touch with you. If it is about sharing your contacts, you have to share. So sharing contacts, if it's about an office, share where you are located. Osati mukafuna kuti muzandipeze, make sure muzakumane ndi secretary, muzapange book appointment. In most cases, ndimafuna appointment for 1 month. Yeah. What are you trying to say? People are going to be put off and say, imagine for us to, get in touch with this person, we have to wait for a month. It means you are trying to be somebody who is unapproachable. But advocates, we are approachable. Yes, there are some conditions, because some people, when you share them your contact, they may end up abusing that contact. 12 midnight, they send a text. 12 midnight, they call. Yeah. So sometimes, yes, you can put conditions, but make sure that those conditions are flexible enough so that people can be able to reach you. I needed to communicate that under communication. Can I proceed?
Yes.
So, characteristic number 2 The second characteristic as an advocate for children, assertiveness. 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 The other word for assertiveness is self-confidence. Self-confidence. Self-confidence or courage. Okay, so this is another important characteristic or quality that advocates need to have. Assertiveness or self-confidence means it means that you as an advocate, you show that you believe what you are talking about. It means you have confidence. You believe in what you're saying. You believe in the issue. You are fully convinced. And as a result, you want the people that you are communicating to also share the what? The belief. If others maybe have got doubts about the issue, when you engage them, those doubts are cleared. That's what it means to be assertive. It means you are so pushy to the point that those people that you're trying to address, they end up accepting. They end up accepting. Initially they didn't want, but because you have engaged them, they end up what? Doing. In the Bible, you read the Bible, or you know something about the Bible, everyone. There's a story. In fact, Jesus was trying to address was explaining to people about, what was it? Okay, he was talking about prayer. He was talking about prayer, and he used a story. So this is a story that I want to use in order to maybe clarify this point. So he said there were two friends. There were two friends, good friends, and one of them received a visitor in the night. It was in the middle of the night. He received a visitor, but he had nothing in terms of food to give to the visitor. So he said, maybe let me go to a friend of mine, ask for food so that I can save my visitor. So he went to the friend, knocked on the door. He said, friend, I say, Kwabwera, I've received a visitor. I don't have anything. Can you please share me a little something so that I save my visitor as a goni ninja? So this friend of this guy said, my friend, it's unfair because I am sleeping, my wife is sleeping, and my children are also what? Asleep. What you are doing, you are even disturbing, waking up my children. Mama, when I was to school, you know. But the friend insisted, continue knocking on the door and said, I know I'm being unfair, but you are a friend of mine. Telling him what will you have done? So the friend said, no, Komano, I cannot wake up. I'm still sleeping. Yeah? So Jesus said, because this guy who was knocking, who came to ask for food, persisted, continued to knock. This guy inside said, I think Dingodani, ndingompasa ndithane naye ndizigona. Otherwise mmene akuonekera msatani is not going to stop. So eventually he got what he wanted. Jesus was saying, when you are praying, don't stop until you have received. If you say, I've just prayed, I prayed 2 times. Last week I was praying, but look, this is the second week, I'm getting nothing. It means you will not get it. So you have to have a character of assertiveness. So you are so pushy. You know, sometimes you wonder when you see a girl and then is in a relationship with somebody and you are like, you too, iwe unamuvomera bwanji uyu unamulola bwanji this guy, you mean sumaona ya, you know. So sometimes we understand because some guys can be so pushy. Somebody was giving was explaining, I say, right? Why? Because some people have got that character. So we need the same character when it comes to advocates. You need to be so pushy. Also, people should dismiss you. Sometimes they should just accept and say, let's just accept, do what he or she wants. Otherwise, doesn't seem to be stopping whatever he wants. Okay, any questions? Let me finish. Character number 3 is called passionate or passion.
I forgot how much I put this because I bought it. Just coming. No, I bought it. Is it for not more than 5,000? I bought it for 500. I bought it for 5,000. Where you going?
let's continue. So where was that? Passion. Passionate. Yeah. So this is the third quality that advocates need to possess. They need to be passionate. So what does being passionate mean? It means having showing a lot of interest or enthusiasm. Showing a lot of interest or enthusiasm. Or having a strong belief in the issue or a cause they are advocating. Showing interest or enthusiasm, or having a strong belief in the issue or cause they are advocating. Having the interest or enthusiasm. Your interest. Oh, the word enthusiasm. Yes, enthusiasm. E-N-T-H-U. Yes, enthuse. E-N-T-H-U. S-I-A-S-M. E-N-T-H-U. S-I-A-S-M. Enthusiasm. So enthusiasm, it's like having strong interest, being excited about an issue. When you're enthusiastic, being excited, komanso, it means having high expectations about an issue. High positive expectation, that's enthusiasm. So when you are passionate, you show that. You are excited about the issue. It's not like an exam. In most cases, people are not enthusiastic about exams. They just go through the exam for the sake of writing an exam. But when you are told, we'll sponsor a trip, maybe to go to South Africa for a holiday, we're giving you an air ticket for free. You will go to South Africa and you will go next week. It means between now and next week you're not sleeping. You are enthusiastic. Yeah? You are excited, you are expecting. You are because you are interested about that. So you show a lot of energy. This is the same. If you are a child advocate, you need to show that passion, that enthusiasm, excitement about it, interest about it. You do it not because of money, you don't do it because somebody is pushing you to do it, but you do it out of your own, yes. That's what it means by being passionate, having passion. If you are a child worker who is not passionate about it, it's difficult when you face resistance, when you face hurdles or hindrances or obstacles. It's very, very difficult. You can easily give up. Because obviously, if you are a child worker or a child advocate, you will obviously meet challenges and opposition. People try to discourage you. Some will try to frustrate you. Some will not give you room, time. They will say, no, we are not interested in your issue. No, the one that you are looking for is not here. I'm in an office. Come next week, and you're hearing the person is speaking in the office, and the secretary is saying, no, he's not around, he's gone outside the country, he's going to be here in the next 2 weeks, so come up in the next 2 weeks. You go back, You go there after 2 weeks, and then they will also create some stories just to frustrate you. So if you are not passionate, you will give up. Say, hey, this work is so hard. I can't do it. But when you are passionate, like we've already said earlier on, you keep on up until they say, uyu sazadani, sazateka. Person is menakufuna. That motivation is what is called passion. You have already done motivation, isn't it? Of course. And motivation. You also I think I was the one who was also teaching. So the drive. Chimejima ubanga activate. Could you can wake up in the morning and say, let me go to work. I need to work on this. It's passion. And passion is good because it will help you to overcome obstacles. It will help you to overcome challenges. Okay? The other thing is, if you are passionate about the issue, it is easy to convince people to be part of your cause. It is easy to convince people to be part of your cause. It is easy to win people. And it is easy to change people. It is easy to change people. Do you know why churches run by prophets? They have a lot of followers. If you look at churches which are run by prophets, I'm passionate about what they are doing. Sometimes whatever they do is questionable, but still people who flock. Why? They show a lot of energy in whatever they do. They will jump up and down. And some people are convinced, easily convinced, the way this one is jumping, I think God is using him. And they join. So, when you are passionate about an issue, it's easy to convince people to join you, even if whatever you're doing maybe is also knowledgeable. The last characteristic for today. I'll add 2 more next time we meet, but I want us to finish today by looking at knowledgeable, being knowledgeable. Right. So, advocates need to understand laws and issues surrounding their cases. They need to understand the laws and issues surrounding their cases and the causes they are pursuing. They need to understand the laws and the issues surrounding their cases and causes they are pursuing. Okay? In order to do this, they need to take time to research the history of the cause or issue. They need to, in order to do this, they need to take time to research but necessarily research the history of the cause of the issue they are handling. Even work that has been done previously on the issue. And even work that has been done previously on the issue they are handling as well. That's what they need to do. So qualities like being patient, being organized, allow advocates to present clear and precise case without wasting time and effort. Qualities like patience and being organized. Qualities like patience and being organized allow advocates to present a clear case. And precise case without wasting time and effort. Furthermore, direct personal or professional experience. Direct personal or professional experience gives advocates the necessary background. Direct personal or professional experience gives advocates the necessary background they need to execute their plans and make changes they are trying to effect. Execute their plans or carry out their plans. And make the changes they are trying to effect. Lastly, under being knowledgeable, advocates take their time. Advocates take their time to find out who the players are, and what role each has in the decisions. Take their time to find out who the players are and what role each has in the decisions that affect their clients' cases. Okay, and what role each has in the decisions that affect their clients. Decisions that affect their clients. CLIENTS, client. Tabita. Are you serious? Where?
What role
each has
in the decision
that affect clients, their clients. Clients, then cases. Okay, clients' cases. Deputy, at the end of the S, you put an apostrophe. Clients' cases. Since advocates fight for the rights of children, right? They can only do that, fight effectively, if they are armed with knowledge. The weapons that we use as advocates is knowledge. That's why there is a saying, knowledge is power. So that's our weapon, knowledge. You shouldn't be ignorant about the laws that concern children. You need to be knowledgeable about the case that you are handling. I've already said, when it comes to fighting for the rights of the children, children have got they've got lots of rights. They're entitled to so many rights. Right to education, you have to know what it means. If you are not knowledgeable, if you don't know about these rights, you have to research, study, find out about these rights. Because when people ask you questions, why are you doing this? You have to defend yourself. And say, according to the law, Constitution of Malawi, according to CRC, Convention on the Rights of Children, this child has got this right. And it means you as a parent, you have to do A, B, C. You as a guardian, you have to do X, Y, Z. You as a teacher, you have to do X, Y, Z. You don't have to do A, B, C. It means you know. And then people are going to accept. But if they ask you one or two questions and you are ignorant, you can't explain, you can't defend, you can't give a backing, they will dismiss you and say, you don't know what you're doing, leave us alone. This one is my child. I am a teacher, I've got the powers. They will keep on doing and harming the children just because you are not knowledgeable. Because sometimes you even need to get the police and they say, I've been trying to talk to this person who is abusing the child, he's not listening, and according to the law, this one has to be arrested, and you can mobilize the police. And the police can also be convinced because they want to protect the child from abuse. That's why we're saying you need to know about the laws. You need to know about the issues surrounding the case that you're trying to advocate for. So in Malawi, we've got organizations like Yoneko. You know Yoneko, right? Mm-hmm. So Yoneko is in the forefront doing child advocacy. They do a lot. That's why they go and they fetch somebody from marriage. Anakakwatiwa nsikana who is underage ndo wang'ono amapita nditokatesa mabanja amene kaya mfumu anali involved amakauzira kwa mfumu kuti zimene upanga zolakwika because they know more and they take them out from those child marriages, bring them home. They go into the estates and find children very young being used as workers. In my state, they go there, they put them and say, no, according to the laws, children are not supposed to be here, supposed to be in the school. They go, Magwala, and they find the children very young, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. They are in the video shows during school time. And they say, if you don't take these children out, we're going to close this business. We're going to close this business. Take them out. Why? Because they know the laws, the rules, policies that guide the welfare of the children, and they try to push to promote the rights of the children. Knowledgeable. They need to, child advocates need to have the necessary knowledge, because that is the weapon that is used. They don't carry a whip to go around whipping people. like the way Jesus did in the temple, whipping them. No. Their whip is knowledge. At this point, I can confidently say for today, for this lesson, we can stop right here. Unless if people have questions, it's 10 a.m. Okay? Questions? No
No
questions?
questions, comment and everything, not about what we
Yes.
when if someone goes to social media, how come when you have reported an issue, they like everything in house police, they'll tell you, people share me, we should help you in them, we should provide them with fuel so that the police can go with their vehicle at a particular place where you have reported police station. Because I hear that these are the government, plan their government when they are giving their funds. Ministry can generate revenue fund. So how come you report an issue and tell you you should provide fuel, political fuel?
Okay. It's not supposed to be like that. And it's unfortunate. Could by the end of the day, they,